The views and opinions expressed during Love and Life with Lana and Dave are those only of the speakers and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or the position of our podcast hosts or affiliates. Any content provided is not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, anyone, or anything. All right, let's do it.
You're listening to Love and Life with Lana and Dave, the podcast where logic is power and you take control. Thank you for tuning in, making the choice to listen in and get ideas for your own love and life. Now, here are your hosts, Lana Williams and David Vaccaro. I'm David.
I'm Lana.
But today, for a minute, I'm not David.
You know what? I'm not Lana.
So check this out. Come over. Not to be lame, but Netflix and chill.
Oh, I have a boyfriend.
Why were you being so nice then?
Is it a crime to be a decent person?
No, but it's a crime to lead someone on. Shaking my head.
How?
You always laugh at my jokes and talk to me at lunch.
Me, a decent human.
So you don't want to fuck?
What part of you makes you think that I would?
Are you fucking serious?
Dead.
You're a girl. You were nice to me all day, and you sat with me at lunch. You said you liked my taste in music. Do I really need to go on?
Yes. Yes, because none of that you said inherently means I want to fuck you.
Wow. Okay. Bye. Now.
Don't forget the last.
I can't. Fucking bitch. I didn't see that. It was cut off on my thing. All right. So as you know, we weren't really talking to each other, but that is an actual text message that went back and forth between two people that this guy was trying to meet this girl. And we don't know their age. We don't know much about them. But holy shit is all I have to say.
Right.
I can't imagine. I mean, I felt like an ass just talking like that, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, what a dink.
So today we're obviously going to be talking about what's going on today with conversations, generally dating conversations between men and women, the stuff that we're seeing out there between people's profiles and the stuff that they say to each other in conversations and like what kind of mindset must be going on. So that was our first example.
Right, and it's a good example. So Lana sent me that. We will say that there's a actual site, and we're not going to disclose the site because there could be people that are not wanting not significant others, but whatever. So we're not
right there. There's so many. This stuff that we're going to talk about comes from several dating sites.
Right.
Text messaging between two people. Facebook Messenger,
stuff like that.
Snapchat, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And so
Yeah. So that one was like,
that looks like a regular text message, but
that's insane though. First of all, I just got to say this to the girl that was responding. Why the fuck did you give that guy your phone number? I mean, God Almighty, there had to be some red flags right from the get go. I mean, that dude he's nuts. He has to be nuts, right? I mean,
well, I will say this, and I have had this happen before. If you're in an environment where, like, I'm not saying that, who knows if this person was really young, you know what I mean? But you couldn't, if this was, we don't know what environment this was in. This could have been a work environment. This could have been a school environment. In which case, that's possible that this guy could have been just friendly and personable and just got a text message or got a phone number from this woman and then just decided this was going to be his approach and she didn't see it coming. It does happen.
Of course.
I mean, especially because it looks like it might be either a very young couple or a young couple of people. It's possible that she just didn't know any better than to do that. And she'll learn.
When I first read it, honestly, I didn't even think it could be people that work together and they're talking about lunch at work. I immediately thought it was like children at school because
maybe because of the content.
It's so bad. And by the way, I just would like to say, when I was picking on the girl for what made you, I'm not blaming the girl for that at all. I mean, in reality, you have a right, and you should have a right to be able to speak to anybody that you choose. And what comes out of that is just, that's ridiculous to me, is not on her end, but his end. I mean, she handled it really well, I thought. Now, there's another one. It's the one that escalated really quickly. Do you have that one?
I do. I just sent that to you earlier. Stand by. Hang on.
We'll do that.
I got that. Oh, boy. We're going to do this. Okay.
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, boy. It got pretty cold. I had to pull out the windshield scraper this morning with an exasperated emoticon.
I could have helped you.
Oh, hey, I appreciate that, but I'm so far away, it'd be quicker to just do it myself. Plus, you save gas money.
Okay. I was just trying to be nice.
Yes, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I feel like you don't mean that. You never give me a chance at anything, whether it's scraping the ice off your vehicle or taking you to dinner. I'm glad your fiance died. Holy shit.
Right.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but are you kidding me? So
yes.
These ones here I haven't read yet, and I'm glad I didn't because.
Dave's reading me the moment.
Oh my God, that's just yes. Okay, really?
So
the dude goes there. You don't let me scrape your windows or take you to dinner. I'm glad your fiance died. Like what the really? Dude,
right.
Oh my God.
So now I'm gonna make a quick commentary on this because I have a couple of girlfriends, and one of them always says to me, you went off script. You're not supposed to go off script. And it's like a kind of a running joke because what happens is a guy will approach you with some line and you're supposed to respond in a certain way. And so he's got another one coming. And this to me looks like the typical, if I say this, you're going to say this, then I say this.
Right. Yeah.
And she was just like, instead of saying, oh, how nice of you, or, she was supposed to say whatever it was. I don't even know because
whatever
most guys
he was expecting, right?
Yeah, there's some kind of something in their head that they think they're going to get, and it's not even something you can predict. It all depends on the person.
That's insane.
So he had some kind of response that he thought he was going to get back from that, and it didn't go very well for him. And we say something like, when you go off script, it really brings out like the tantrum. There are guys that really come unglued over the fact that the script isn't followed.
Right. So we actually did. Yes, it's a prime example of that. And guys, if you're one of those guys that you have a script, you really need to go back and listen to one of our first podcasts on how to meet people and how to approach people and how to have a conversation with somebody. Because one of the things that makes a guy successful with talking to people, and I'm one of them. I can talk to anybody, and we'll have a great conversation. Whether it goes anywhere or not, that's that.
Well,
depends on,
that's the thing,
right? That depends on the conversation.
That's the main underlying thing: is are you outcome dependent? Are you trying to get somewhere with this conversation?
Yes, and we do have a podcast on that. It's an hour-long podcast just on that. So go back and find it. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's basically on how to socialize.
I'll put it in the notes. I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay, perfect.
I'll refer to it.
Okay, because that's kind of important because this one. I'm sorry that I don't mean to laugh, but his response is, "I'm glad your fiance died," because she didn't give him the response he wanted, and you're exactly right. This is a guy that is expecting. He went in expecting something very specific. And conversations don't work like that, right? I mean, I could say, oh, I like your blue eyes. And you go, well, they used to be brown, but I was injected in my eyes with blue dye because I didn't want, my family was afraid that, because you remember the Jewish people used to do that. They used to inject their eyes to make them blue so they didn't think that they were Jewish or something like that. Something happened years ago, but whatever. And so,
well, that's a whole nother podcast, I guess. We'll have to get into that later.
Right. Yeah, but I don't mean to get so deep, but the fact of the matter is, you could open a conversation expecting, somebody just say, "Oh, thanks," or whatever. I didn't
and they
grow
don't.
them. Yeah, and they don't, and that's okay too. You need to know how to have a conversation with somebody without expecting a specific response. That's what I like. Go ahead.
Right. No. There's a couple things I want to mention about this screenshot as well, and it's just fresh because today is the first time I've seen it. there's a couple things. One, I call pedestal placing or ROI. If you're a guy that you think that if you give something, like it's almost like a slot machine for guys that, in my opinion, where they think if they give you this, they expect that you're going to put out that.
Right.
And saying something like, I'm just trying to be nice I've heard that in my entire life, and I really hate that statement. Because what I'm supposed to do is, to me, I'm just trying to be nice is a manipulative statement that is specifically supposed to make the person you're talking to feel like shit.
Right.
And move the goalpost because you want what you want. That's what that is.
Yep.
I'm trying to be nice. If you break down that sentence in this circumstance, which is, I don't know how long these people have known each other, but they don't sound like they've known each other very long.
Not at all.
They maybe been in an initial conversation for a day or two or whatever, but it doesn't sound like they've actually met, or if they have, it's never been more than once. Enough though that this guy knows that she was married and her fiance died apparently, but or she was getting married. But like, to me, there should be a comfort. You should be able to roll with the punches, and I don't even really know how to say this, but to me, I'm just trying to be nice as a specific statement of manipulation in the sense that the guy saying it isn't trying to be nice and knows he's not trying to be nice. There's no way in hell that he thinks that anything he's doing is nice. He's saying that to you because he thinks that he's going to trigger something in you to get his way.
Right.
That's why it bothers me. It's just, I hate the word nice when it comes to this, because nice is something that women over the years have been programmed to respond to that word specifically. I mean, when you go back to old times, like you go old, years ago, and things that were going on where women were typically second-class citizens. Hey, I'm just trying to be nice. Hey, I'm just trying to be nice. If you ever see the movie The Lovely Bones, I mean, that's pretty much Stanley Tucci's main line all the time is, I'm just trying to be nice. It's a manipulative tactic is what it is. And that person, if they really wanted to be nice, would allow you to say what you had to say, and would totally say, "Oh, okay,
that's fine. Yeah, you listen." And that's
a girl who scrapes her own windshield. Good for you, sister. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Instead, it was just So anyway,
look, and it's his
that was
decision.
A tantrum as well.
If he feels and honestly, and the guy's a clown. First of all, let me just stop by saying that. But if I was to handle that honestly in my situation. And I felt as though this girl's not letting me take her to dinner. She's not letting me do anything nice for her. Things that I want to do as a man, that I choose to do as a man, things that I need to do as a man, maybe for me. If I needed to do that stuff and she's not allowing me to do that stuff, she's not my girl. I'm not going to get mad at her. But, if that's what I want and she's not it, just that's it. That's fine. And that's what guys need to realize is that if you really need that, if you need somebody to say, "Oh, can you come scrape my windows?" If you need that woman who is who's not capable of scraping their own damn windows? Yes, there are women that don't want to scrape their own windows that would love a guy to scrape their windows. Right. They exist. But if you're talking to one that's not that girl, then she's not your girl. I mean, it's a little trivial for me, but whatever.
Right, it is. It is. I really honestly think, like, in most cases, I don't think a guy would be that put off if a girl scrapes her windshield or not. It's just that in this particular situation, this guy was using that as leverage to get into a specific
he said,
you don't give me and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, because his thing is like, I feel like you don't mean that. You never give me a chance at anything, whether it's scraping the ice off your vehicle or taking you to dinner. They may have gone to dinner, and she may have paid for her own dinner or whatever. And
who knows?
But again, if he doesn't like that, then that's not his girl. That's as simple as that.
You can tell that it's a straw that broke a camel's back. He was frustrated.
Yeah, he's
this
done.
was just a place to let loose.
But he's an idiot. I mean, I'm glad your fiance died. That's pretty shitty because she was happy with somebody who probably didn't mind her scraping her own windows, or she let him scrape her windows.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe in time.
That's a thing too. By the way, a lot of times, people will say, like, I've had friends go, "Oh, he said he didn't want any kids, and now he's with this girl, and she's pregnant." And I go, "He didn't want any kids with you, right?" And you've heard me say that many times in some of these podcasts. And
right, but that doesn't make you wrong. That makes the person who said it wrong because they weren't clear about what they
weren't
should have
correct.
Said that to you.
They weren't. They should have, but people don't, right? And that's the thing. Maybe she's like, "I don't want you scraping my windows, and I don't want you to pay for my meal," because in reality, right? When we get to that point in a relationship, like, I'm the type of person that I like to do that. but you didn't know me the first time you and I met. And I had to force that on you for me to buy your coffee. But that's just who I am. I invited you for coffee. Right. That means I'm paying for your coffee. But also, you don't know me from Adam. So, I mean, in person, you didn't then.
Right.
And we're talking many years ago this happened. But most people, when they do something nice for somebody, they expect something in return. I'm not that guy. I did it because I invited you. And to me, you're doing something nice for me because you come and kept me company while I was stuck in, Rhode Island. And I didn't know anybody down there,
Right.
So, that's the way I look at it. And that's, to me, I appreciate you being here. So I would like to pay for your coffee. That's all that was. It's not like I'm paying for your coffee. Now, can you touch my pee-pee? I mean, there are people out there. Yeah, there are people.
And if you don't know me, I'm one very fiercely independent, and I just always like to cover everything that I consume. It's just my thing. So I don't even really think anything of it. But also, if I don't know somebody really well, I just assume not be obligated to whatever it is that they think I'm obligated to. And so I always start off with, I'll get my own thing.
Yeah.
If you meet me, I actually met somebody for coffee the other day, and I met a couple people for coffee in the past week for different reasons, but I'll get my coffee and be waiting when you get there. A lot of times that eliminates the conversation of who pays for what and whatever. I just eliminate it by being there with my coffee when you show up. So it's just done. Right. But anyway.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do another one. We got another one that you had just sent. It's the one that's
okay. So which one?
Thursday, 9:52 p.m.
Oh, wait a minute.
Are you able to meet me at?
Yeah.
And we'll skip that name because I don't. Yeah, you want to skip the name?
Yeah.
And just say you're able to meet me at the restaurant instead.
Hey, are you able to meet me at the restaurant instead? Still 12:30?
I'm not. However, the house is only 5 minutes from there.
I know, but I'd rather meet in public place.
Listen, you'll either have to take a chance and forego the item, your choice. Plenty of other people who come to the house without incident.
Wow, I'll pass.
Sorry for my reading.
This guy's saying,
in other
you'll
words,
have to take a chance or forego the item.
So he can't
you are
wait.
An item on a shelf that has some value, and if I don't come to your house, I'm not going to get the item.
I know that's a little bit. First of all, asshole. He's 5 minutes up the road, but he can't meet her there. But you can come to my house. Okay, what does that make you think? Because me, as a man, if I'm saying, you want to just come hang out at the house, you know what I'm looking for, right? Not me personally, but
and women have to think of that a little extra. Am I going to end up in a crime scene?
Yeah,
they have to do that.
Does this dude have a
you
dirt
go to somebody's
cellar?
House?
Yeah. How the hell do you know? You don't.
Exactly.
And she said, I'd rather meet in a public place. Completely understandable. It's like, I've had people say to me, you want to meet for dinner? And I go, I'd rather meet for coffee. And they go, I'd like to do dinner and drinks. And I go, I'd rather meet for coffee. Because two things happen there. One, we have a conversation over coffee. Coffee don't last very long. And if things aren't going well, I'm out. And, if we can expand after that, right? But I'm not expecting her. It gives her an out. It gives me an out. And I think that's fair.
And it's because you can actually get the data that you want to get from a coffee.
Absolutely.
And I've told guys this. And what that means is how she handles the coffee process is probably how she's going to handle dinner, but a lot cheaper. It's going to be
not
the same
only
thing.
a lot cheaper, a lot shorter too. So if that process starts to suck after 10 minutes or 15 minutes or a half an hour, I mean, look, I can tell you, I met somebody from Match one time. This was years ago when Match was a big thing. I met somebody from Match, and we met for coffee. We left coffee. We went to lunch. After lunch, we went fishing. After fishing, we went to dinner. It ended up being a whole day event. And, it was great. So it was good, and we continued.
That's what spontaneous people do, I bet.
Yes. Yeah,
I don't know anything about that. I meet you for coffee. If I want to see you again, I will make plans with you another time, but I will not extend the coffee.
She just said, we were sitting there, and I'm like, and she's like, where are you going from here? I said, I'm going to probably grab lunch. And she's like, do you want to get lunch together? And I would have said no if I didn't want to. And I said, that'd be great. We'll get lunch.
But even if I did want to, I would still probably.
And she said, should I leave my car here and just jump in your car? And I said, yeah, that's because we were only going right up the street. It was literally walking distance. And so she jumped in my car. She saw I had fishing poles, and she goes, I love fishing. I go, we should go fishing sometime. She goes, you want to go fishing after lunch? I go, yeah, absolutely. And we, it was a good day.
Spontaneous people. These are the chick flick people. I know it. Listen, we had this long date, and we just ended up married at the end of it.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Everybody's probably wondering what happened to her. It sounded like things were going great, and it was. Yeah. We dated for like a year, and then I found out that she was completely in love with a married man, and the only reason she was dating is because he was on vacation with his wife for a long time, and then when he came back, she's a mess because he's home. And what a horror show that was. But that was easy peasy.
That's crazy. I can't believe how long it took. Like I get it. I get it. But I'm surprised he was like that long.
He was literally away on business for the whole time we were together.
Wow.
Yep. Him and his family.
Oh, dating. What a lovely thing it is. Right?
That never got brought up in a year.
The other thing I just want to say something quickly to ladies. I don't care if it is looking like things are changing, and these types of places where you get these screenshots, I love them in the sense that for a very long time, a lot of us women did not think that we thought we were the only ones getting this kind of crap. Though these kind of sites are great because women can actually go, oh, I'm getting that too. Oh, now we're an understanding that if somebody's, cutting and pasting some kind of profile, or if they're sending the same message to 10 women, we're now understanding that this is a common thing. And so none of us, it's actually very empowering for women that it's isolated. If a guy's going to be narcissistic, or, which is a buzzword, I know, but if they're going to be manipulative or they're not going to be good for you, the last thing they want you to do is have information. Like they don't want you to know anything about anything.
Right.
They can't get away with anything if you have any kind of knowledge. Mm-hmm. And, with really douchebaggy, abusive type men, I mean, their whole tactic is to isolate you from everybody. That's their thing. And the reason they do that is because if the wrong person gets wind of what's going on in your relationship and they can give you some knowledge about it, you may just turn around and leave the guy based on something you found out. I mean, that's why they do that. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of other things going on, but
it's definitely a very positive thing. And so there's there's something out there for the guys, and probably a lot of women have seen them too. There's a YouTube channel that's very popular, and it's Gold Diggers, right? And if you watch them, and I've watched a lot of them, and if you watch them, so basically it's a guy that pulls up and he's got a Lamborghini, and he's standing out there.
Video,
they jump in and they give him a golden shovel and be like, you're a gold digger piece. And but some of them are pretty bad, but others are. It's interesting because if you listen to the women, they basically all say the same thing. They all change their posture. They're very much the same. So it's a learning process. So yeah, I may not be pulling up in a Lamborghini, but I also it helps men that are worried about that be able to recognize what it is. So and that's what's good about these text
power,
messages.
Right?
It's totally power, right?
So I mean, what I was going to say to ladies was, if you're talking to somebody and you want to meet up, and he says, "Hey, listen," he's trying to muscle you into a specific location. If it's a location where there's nobody around, it seems like it would be like common sense. But if you're talking to somebody and you like them, and for whatever reason, first of all, before you meet somebody in person, you have no idea who you're dealing with. So if you're getting spidey senses or tingles before you meet somebody about whether or not they're legit, you probably should follow that feeling. Right. Another thing is if you like a guy and you're really interested in, and you're trying to fill in the blanks, and you think that there's really an attraction there, you honestly don't know. But to base your feelings on your decision is not a good idea. So always keep a clear head about, I want to meet this certain person here. If you feel like you need to do a background check, this is a guy that you're going to go and sit down and eat with and date possibly. If you feel unsafe, obviously don't do a background check, just be an asshole. But if you feel like you need to worry about your safety, there's nothing wrong with that. That's something you can do.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I tell people that all the time, and people get offended. They're like, "You did a background check on me?"
Yeah.
What? Listen.
I mean, if it's somebody that you're going to be personal with, like there's a lot of
you don't
well-being
know
on the line,
especially
right?
Today, right? We're not meeting people through friends and stuff like we used to,
it's
right?
Definitely complete strangers now.
Yeah, I mean, we're meeting people that are complete strangers, and look, 90% of the people that talk to me on these dating apps are not even fucking real people. I'm able to weed that out pretty quickly. And that's one of the reasons I don't like dating apps, because first of all, and listen, I test them all the time. They'll say, "Oh, and I can tell they're not from this country because of their language and stuff." And I go, "Where are you from?" And then they'll say something like California City, California, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the state is, they're part of that city. And I go, "Oh, really?" And I'll say, "How's the weather there today?" "Oh, it's beautiful." "Oh, did it rain?" No, yeah, it did. Because I have the weather
Or
app,
the city doesn't exist.
Yeah, the city doesn't exist. That happens
ladies
all the
and
time.
we get the guys that are they're away, they're in military. We love that. Well, the ones that are like in your town, and you start talking to them.
We get that too.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm not really, I'm
not here
from
now.
your town, but I'm away. I'm in Afghanistan right now, but I'm looking for somebody to settle down with." And you're like, personally, if somebody's half an hour from me, it's too far. So I'm like, yeah, okay, no.
You're on the other side of the planet.
But also, you're gonna put my town in. You're gonna pop a town into my state, and like how many profiles do you have going and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's not my thing, but I know there were actually. That's some kind of a scam. I don't know what it is because I don't bother with it long enough. But
it is. I've played with them
that fall for that stuff.
I definitely played with them because you know me.
Right.
I like to if somebody calls me and they're trying to sell me something that's just ridiculous to me, I'll keep them on the phone forever just to waste their time because you're wasting my time. So I'm having fun.
Right.
I've done it many times, and generally it comes down to money. And they'll tell you in a couple days. They'll start telling you that, "Oh, you're perfect for me," and I think I'm falling in love with you. And
couple days.
It's insane. It's insane.
That's love bombing, ladies. Love bombing.
Yep.
And guys. Yeah. Anybody who's like, "Oh my God, you're the one for me." If they say any kind of crap that they saw in some kind of Disney movie,
right,
and they've never even met you, and they've talking to you for 10 minutes.
So it's kind of funny
because
because
even if they mean it, get rid of them. That is absolutely
do I believe
nonsense.
in love at first sight? And my answer is yes, I believe it can happen. It doesn't happen every fucking time you talk to somebody, because if it does, you have a problem.
Actually, I don't believe in it. I'm a little more Scully and you're a little more Mulder, and I get that.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it can happen. I believe that, because it's happened to friends of mine. And they've been together for
let's look at the scientific of
correct.
Where it turned out to be was that. Then when you look back, it looks like it was, but was it? It's just hindsight for most people.
Well, these are people that just
a lot of
saw
people will
each
say
other.
to me, "Well, I love my kids, and I don't know what I would have done without my kids." And I'm like, "Well, if you didn't have your kids, you would just
wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. Like that's
right. You don't.
That's something
you
that you can't go back and change.
But see, for this particular couple, they were both married to other people at the time.
Right.
They literally passed each other walking into a coffee shop. She was walking in, he was walking out. They said hi and smiled. He held the door for her. And he went home and he divorced his wife because he was like, I can't stop thinking about this girl. Doesn't even know. And she's like, "You cheated," and blah, blah. Doesn't even know her name. I mean, this is rare, right? I mean, so, and these guys have been together now for, I think, going on 20 years. But she went home and did the same thing and divorced her husband because she can't get this guy out of her head. And they looked for each other for a year. I mean, something like you'd see on TV, but it's real. It's people I know. It happened. So how can I not believe in it? And
I understand.
They're one of the best couples I've ever seen. They are so happy and they love each other so much after all these years. I mean, he used to. Well, I shouldn't be saying what he used to do because I don't want to.
We don't want to get into anybody's personal life.
So
right?
but so I believe it can happen. Do I believe it's common? No.
Exactly. No, I agree.
So when somebody falls in love with somebody after a week and they go, "Well, it's love at first sight," I couldn't believe it, and then a year later they're like, "Oh my God, it's love at first sight, I can't believe it." I'm like, okay, you got an issue, because that's like a once in a lifetime. First of all, for me, it's probably a once in a lifetime thing that I'll even hear about that happening to somebody successfully, right? So
and in this day and age, to me, honestly, actually, I'm not really sure. Like, I think about it and it's like, would it be more of a common thing now because of the day and age we live in, or would it have been more common years ago? And I feel like in a way it would be more common years ago.
You would think.
And that's only because you're the people that you have to choose from years ago is a lot less.
Right.
So statistically, you would think that would make it worse.
Yes.
But you had so many people back then that came from your neighborhood and knew the people you knew, and there was all this other stuff involved. I don't know if it would have been love, but the familiarity would have been like off the charts.
Right.
Because you would have gone to school together and had family that knew each other.
Yeah,
and like all these things that
your parents usually knew their parents and stuff
right.
like
So
that.
I don't know that it was love, but it was probably
it was more of a arranged thing. You know, it was somebody that
was arranged, but
convenient.
I don't know.
It was convenient, and it was familiar, I think is the right word.
No, I definitely think familiarity was
familiar and safe. You know,
familiarity breeds contempt. You know, that just came into my head.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that funny?
Oh, Jesus,
the way my brain works.
Yeah. So I
think a lot of times it was that. Actually,
we're gonna read one more. We're not gonna say who this was from yet, but we're gonna after the end of it. Okay. So this one starts with the girl. It's yellow. That one.
Oh wait. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So it starts with the female talking, and then the guy, and then the girl.
Is this the one that says, "How's your week
going?"
Yeah. You know. Okay.
Don't say nothing yet. We'll talk about it afterwards. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So how's your week going?
Hi. Not too bad. Very busy at work because of prison lockdown to the virus. You able to eat from home?
Well, that's where I keep my food. Yeah.
So, okay, that was actually a conversation that Lana had, and Lana is such a smart ass.
Yep.
And look, and I give her shit about it because look, the guy's just being nice because during the lockdown, a lot of people didn't have food at home. They weren't able to eat food at home because they couldn't get it, so they had to.
I'm
order.
A pragmatist, though, and so when
I know,
somebody
like
says
of course,
something
well, that's
to me,
what my food
I'm literal
is.
About it.
I know. Yep.
I actually was in a grocery store once, and a guy came up to me in the grocery store, and he's what?
Well, I want to ask you something about this. Was there more conversation after that?
There might have been, but I don't. I don't remember.
Brief. Yeah,
that was a long time ago, so I don't have anything else.
Right. Yeah. So I was
probably.
I was just curious.
I was in a supermarket, and I used to say some sarcastic stuff. So, but I also people's lines. I understand that people are just saying things to like connect.
Right.
But a lot of times the things that people say to connect are not necessarily like they don't make sense, or they're not like they're not literally linear as far as like what they're saying. They're just saying something to say it, but they're not checking what they're saying. Does that make sense?
They're bad conversationalists, and
I'm the one that I'm the type of person that will I'm like Seinfeld. Well, I'll take apart everything you're saying and be like, are you listening to what you're saying? Like, are you paying attention to what you just said? Mm-hmm. And somebody, I was in the grocery store, and somebody came in, hey, how you doing? And something about, hey, it's funny that I would run into you here. Now, it was somebody in a grocery store that like I had gone to, I don't know, once a week, twice a week, whatever it was, and I ran into this guy more than once. And he says, funny that I should run into you here. And I said something like, well, when I go home with the food that I buy, and then when I run out, I come back. So, yeah, that's why I'm here again. Like,
yeah,
I come here all the time because this is where the food is.
Yeah.
And he just kind of looked at me like, it's kind of like, it's not like I'm running into you in here because it's a coincidence. I'm like, we both come here because we shop for food. Like, this is what we do. Like, so it's like we just so happen to be here at the same time. But like, it's not really that much of a coincidence.
Right.
Right?
Right. It's definitely not. That would be like,
or somebody saying to me in a nightclub, hey, what's your name? And I tell them my name, and they go, that's a good name. And I think with one night I was drinking, so you'll have to excuse me on that. I said something like, I didn't realize my name was up for review.
That's okay. So that's definitely. Well, look, here's the thing, right? You definitely have a very dry sense of humor, and that's okay. Yeah. And it's a very
I also
logical.
Sometimes do not know when somebody's flirting with me, or I don't understand what they're saying to me. That does happen, where I'm just kind of like,
so. And there's nothing wrong with that. The guy has to be able to handle that, right? Mm-hmm. The right guy for you is going to be able to handle that. He's not going to be offended by it. And look, we've been friends for a lot of years. You've said some things to me that most guys would probably crumble.
Really?
And it's nothing to me. It's silly. I mean, I don't know why they would, but if I was this like, I don't know. I don't take shit personally. You're you, right? Yeah. So like that thing, if you said, well, that's where I keep my food, and you've said stuff like that to me before, I'm sure the guy probably felt like, are you trying to make me look stupid? Like a guy that has less capabilities of understanding that may think you're trying to make him look stupid. Like you're going, duh, stupid. Like, that's where I keep my food, you
Right.
know, which is not what you're saying. You're just being
Right.
sarcastic. I'm very sarcastic too. So we're in New England, so most people have tough enough skin, they'd be able to handle it. But if you were in California and you said that to somebody, it'd cause a complete meltdown. The person would have to go to
Maybe.
his therapist immediately.
Although there's some
Yeah.
people around, I've caused several meltdowns in
I'm sure you
New
have.
England.
I'm sure you
and
have.
I've not, and I've been like, and I've actually stopped and gone, really? Like, I didn't even really think that was that bad. Like, is that you really this upset about something? I did want to, of course, we're going to get into the sending you pictures of your junk thing. Of course, neither one of us ever understand that.
No, that's so that to me is, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I definitely want to go over these other ones here too. 'Cause
Okay.
we got a couple more, and they're pretty good. We're definitely going to talk about that. But to me, it's like I could never walk up to a girl in a bar and go, "What do you think?" and just whip it out. It's like I get it. It's like I know we discussed it before. It's like a
We did.
modern day flashing. I'm not so sure that's really what it is.
Well, I think that it's several things.
'Cause I
And
don't
you can
think
tell
the-
me whether or not you agree.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Though.
Okay.
Let's do this. So this one it's a two. Literally, the guy says a bunch of shit and the girl responds. It's white and blue.
Okay.
It starts with hi.
Okay.
Okay, you know which one I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay. Hi. I'm an alpha man personality. I believe that communication and sexual compatibility are very important in a relationship. I'm looking for something that could develop into long term with a submissive lady. Are you submissive?
Nope. Not even a little. Best of luck.
Okay. Now, that is an okay conversation as far as I'm concerned, because he went straight to the point. First of all, an alpha man personality is just a guy flexing his muscles.
Right. That's the only thing I would want to discuss about that is like the concept of alpha man, which is
What does he think that is, right?
it's overused and it's cheesy, and we're done listening to it.
Like,
It's-
you know, like, do I consider myself a masculine man? Yes, I do. So masculine man is different. And I think that is where a lot of, like, I'm a
this guy, I
protector.
think, was going down the domination road.
He is.
Because
He
brought up
definitely is.
submissive.
And yeah, are you submissive? Are you submissive? And she said, nope, not even a little. Best of luck. And to me, that's perfect conversation, because he said, this is what I am. This is what I'm looking for. And she said, nope, not me. Peace.
Right.
And that's exactly
Correct.
how. Yes, it's and there's nothing
I
wrong
think
with
that might have been mine. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
that sounds like your response. Nope, not
Yep,
even a little.
I think
Best
it
of
was
luck.
me. Any
Yep.
of these blue and white ones are from the
Yeah.
site that I took them from, but that's the only thing that I guess there's nothing I can do about it. There are people that will message me that think I look submissive. I don't know what they're talking about. There's no such thing as somebody looking
Somebody
that
looks
way.
submissive, right? Yeah.
Like, based on what? Like, looking at somebody's picture, there are people who, let me tell you, do not know what they're talking about, because they will tell me they think I'm sweet and
Yeah,
oh,
that's
you look
so
really
stupid.
nice and
I-
happy
you know,
and bubbly. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I used to actually meet a lot of women online because of guys that would be like, you know, and I would comment, and then they would be in my inbox 2 seconds. The girls would be 2 seconds later, because a guy
Right.
would be like, oh, you know, she'll post something like, you know, I met this guy and he was like really rude and blah blah blah, and then somebody will respond. A bunch of guys will respond and be like, oh, you're a sweet lady. I don't know why anybody would ever treat you like that. And I would post, you guys don't know that from Adam. She could be a total douchebag. You don't know that. And I'm not being mean to her. And she's right in my inbox saying, oh my God, thank you, because these guys are ridiculous. They don't know
Can we
me.
talk for a minute about the 11th guy? Have you seen that video?
I have not.
So there's this video. It's actually from a movie, a 2007 movie, and it's oh my God, it's been going around. It's going around several times, and it's been going around a lot again. And basically, it's two actors, and it's a scene in a movie. But one actor is saying something about, and I think they're just talking about dating and relationships and whatever. Two guys, which I don't think even happens in real life very often. If it does, it's not real common. But anyway. So this guy's saying, well, you know, there's 10 guys in a room, and there's this one girl, and these 10 guys are like, you know, she's smoking, and these guys are like falling all of themselves to light her cigarette, and they're telling her how beautiful she is, and blah blah blah, and they're all like, you know, and then there's this 11th guy that comes in, and he comes in, he takes one look at her, and he turns around and he turns his back on her, and he goes looking for his friends. And he goes, well, that's the one this woman's going to want. Not the 10 guys that are treating her great,
That's
but
right.
the one guy.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's a false dichotomy. I went into a big, long description of this because it's a story that, one, it's false. What you're pulling from the story is incorrect. If it is, because in the sense of like, this is it's a story, so it's a movie script.
They're assuming that. So I didn't see it, so I could be off base here. Are they assuming the guy that treats her like shit is the one that's going to get her?
That's what they're saying, but like that's not really what I believe in the story is happening.
Oh, okay, right.
Like, that's
I don't
what they're
believe
taking
that either.
from it, right?
Yeah. And that's not the case. Yeah.
So many things could be going on. Like I said, what about these? What about I said, if you take the 11th guy out of the picture, and knowing what I know about guys and the experience that I have, if she picked one of the 10, then the other 9 would have the same issue.
Of course.
The other 9 would be like, well, wait a minute, what did he do that I didn't do? Like,
yeah.
And I said, this is all ROI behavior, and it's what I call pedestal placing. When you walk into a room and you just throw a bunch of compliments at a girl and you fawn all over and you fall all over yourself to get her attention without knowing anything about her.
Yep.
And taking the piece of the equation that's taken out is always attraction. Like,
yep.
What if she's not attracted to the 10 guys? What if she's not attracted to any of them?
Right. Yep.
But also, the person who's not trying to, like,
yes,
kiss her ass is most likely going to get more attention because of the fact that he's being, like, not whether he's being genuine or not or whatever. He's probably being more of a realistic person than everyone else. We hope you enjoyed part 1 of Dating Conversations. Stay tuned. Next week, we'll be back with part 2. Have a great week. We'll see you soon. Hey, you just listened to Love and Life with Lana and Dave. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please share the podcast, leave us a comment or review, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new content. We'll see you soon.